Hello everybody to another episode of the Xancast. This is the final Xancast and also what could be easily the most important one. Now, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, it was Saturday. I'm recording this on Monday, May 18th, 2020. Okay? My last day of school is the 22nd, and this is being released the 21st. And by last day, I mean I'm done. You know, as a senior in high school, I'm gonna be done. All right, and I got a lot of projects I'm tackling right now. I'm currently making, I'm currently doing something which I'm not revealing yet, but it is huge. And I'm writing a book, and I'm doing this podcast about me writing the book. And I'm just gonna tell you about a few things this book has taught me so far, but first I'm gonna talk you over some of the characters. Just gonna make sure this is still recording in the background when I switch tabs. Yeah. So this book has gone through a lot of name changes. It started off as My Highschool Sacrifice, but the reason why that name was changed, and it was changed about a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, maybe. The reason I changed the name from My Highschool Sacrifice to Highschool Sacrifice, which that name did get changed to The Highschool Sacrifice, is that it's not the main character talking about himself. It's like an outside entity talking about the main character and all these people. So the main character's name is Wade, right? And Wade's a pretty stand-up guy. Like he's a really good person. But he has to deal with all this bad stuff. So that is that is what it is. He's dealing with all this really, really bad stuff. And what this book has taught me personally is people, you know how there's all those like personality quizzes, like what type of personality do you have? I think everybody has multiple, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like multiple personality disorder, which there's a better term for that now, but I don't remember what it is. So I'm not saying multiple personality disorder. I'm just saying that, through my experience and the fact that, it's not DID, dissociative identity disorder. I'm not saying everybody has DID, but I'm saying that people have different personalities, but they are awesome, but they're still themselves. People with DID have different personalities, but they're like actual different people, living within them. So yeah, I'm not saying that people have DID. And if you want a good video on DID, go to Anthony Padilla's channel, because he talks about it really good. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to like offend anybody who has DID, so I'm gonna not talk about that anymore. I did have an idea for somebody in the book to have it, but I don't think I could write that properly. I don't know. So basically what I'm saying here is that everybody has more than one person. I just did a personality test, and I forget what it said I was. I don't know. I think it's an advocate or something. I'm not Paul Heyman. I'm no advocate, but yeah. So this book takes place in the last night of summer, Monday, August 21st, 2005. This is when Wade and Peter are going to start their they're going to start their last first day ever, because they are doing their first. They're going to be seniors the following day. I don't know why I can't talk. all this quarantine has done is it's made it so I cannot speak. I don't have social skills anymore. I mean, everything is really falling apart. But basically how it starts off, without me like going into detail and reading it, because I don't want to read much of what I actually have, just because I don't want it to be out there. But I am 100% willing to talk about the characters and talk about what it's about and all that. So, basically, Wade dated this girl named Raven, who was like an absolute horrible person. She's like super toxic. I mean, like she has all these problems, and she's like a really bad person. And Wade just feels deeply depressed, and he really opens up about that. I'm gonna read this line. Wade said, "I haven't fully recovered since Raven and I broke up on the last day of last school year." That's what Wade said. Now, there's no implications of how long they've dated yet in this book so far. That is going to be revealed in it soon, about how long they dated. For significant damage, I mean, I'd say it would have to be quite a bit. Because this relationship is like really what messed up Wade. In my own personal experience, I have dated somebody just like Raven, but they're not the person who I would say that I dated that I'd say messed everything up. Yeah. There's about 2 people before that. The person before that would be the one I'd say for me. But Wade has only ever dated this one person, like in person, you know. But again, that hasn't been something that's said yet. That's just something that's going to be added. And I haven't written or added anything onto this book since yesterday. But as of right now, let me just check about the words and stuff that it has. Check the word count. It has 4,544 words and is equal to 9 pages. I'll probably make the font bigger, just slightly, so that it can get to be on more pages. But yeah. I think that writing something like this is really hard. You're kind of writing something that you in your experience, you know. You're kind of writing something that is close to you as an individual, but not exactly, you know. Nothing in this book is a situation that I am fully in. It is all just, hey, let me make this, like, if you turned my life up to 11, and then that life did some crack cocaine, then that's what this is. So this is just utter insanity. It is a highly possible story, but it is insanity. And what I really wanted is I wanted like a realistic look, a realistic feel to what a high schooler can feel and the struggles that they go through. Because I think that is barely been highlighted in any form of media. There was the HBO show Euphoria. I think it's called Euphoria. I mean, I saw 3 episodes. I think there was more than 3, but let me just look that up. And yeah, it's called Euphoria, right? Yeah. It's called Euphoria. And it's realistic. It's a realistic look into what a high schooler can feel, but it doesn't showcase that some people are happy. It's just kind of a dark. And yeah, you could say, oh, this is what high schoolers truly go through, but it's not showing anyone happy. I mean, yeah, there's a 10-year-old drug dealer in it, But, I'm not getting the looks and the feels. Like, this is just what it has to be. I looked and there's a total of 8 episodes. I only saw the first 3. But it's not the most realistic look. So that is why that is a big reason why I'm writing this, is because I want that realistic look. Because not everybody is sad and doing drugs, which is exactly what the show is. There's a lot of people in here that are doing drugs and whatever. Because they can't, like Wade's mom. Wade's mom does not believe that mental health is important. Now, I have written a whole entire essay for school, which I will try to look for now, about why mental health is just as important as physical health. This is truly a thing I believe in, and to not believe in this is kind of stupid. Here it is. Haven't looked at this. It's April. Okay, why mental health is just important as your health. So I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs of this that I wrote. The last edit was on April 20th. This is 5 paragraphs and is, again, why mental health is just as important as physical health. Now, I wrote, I strongly believe that mental health is just as important as physical health, if not more important. The idea of mental health's importance is something I've been trying to convey for years. I got this idea to write about it for... what? Okay. I got the idea to write about it for this when someone wrote it on the board. In this essay, I will convince you to think the same way that I do about mental health. So basically, somebody wrote... We did this thing in English where somebody wrote a bunch of topics on the board that we would discuss and like they think they could use for an essay. Somebody wrote mental health but never explained it, and I picked up their ball and I went with it. So here's my second paragraph. There's 5, but I'm only going to read the first 2. A reason why mental health is just as important as physical health is... Well, hold on. A reason why mental health is just as important as physical health is... Oh, I made a typo and the teacher saw that. Maybe that's why I got a 90 instead of a 100%. Hey, hold on. A reason why mental health is just as important as physical health is as important is it affects your behavior, thoughts, and emotion. All those make up the qualities that make you. And they impact every move you make. In this article, Why It's Important to Care About Your Mental Health by Dr. Glenn Xiong, maybe, it says, our mental health also contributes to our decision-making process, how we cope with stress, and how we relate to others in our lives. Looking at the behavioral aspect of it all, you can see good mental health contributes to good physical health, because if you're in a bad mindset, your physical health will also be in a bad mindset too. Now, I wrote that part after the quote. The quote ended on, and how we relate to others in our lives. So yeah, that's just my little article that I made about mental health. And if you'd like to see that, if you'd like to actually read my why mental health is just as important as physical health, then I will send you a link, because I think it's a good read, in my personal opinion. And again, this book is truly about mental health. Wade's mother, as I was saying, does not believe that mental health is important. So he has to go to this drug dealer named Carl, and he has for a couple years or whatever to get anxiety pills from. And I mean, he needs them because social anxiety is pretty bad, Social anxiety is basically, hey, I am unable to talk to this person who I don't know. I physically cannot do it. I feel like I'm in actual pain when I even think about trying. As somebody with social anxiety, I feel like this is something I can comfortably talk about. But again, if this gains any kind of traction, and somebody's gonna probably be mad. Now, I've never... See, here's the thing, alright? I have not been self-diagnosed with social anxiety, but I have every symptom. I have not been self-diagnosed with depression, but I have every symptom. I've not been even self-diagnosed with regular anxiety, but I have every symptom. Alright? I know I have autism, and a lot of these things can lead because of that. But, so I mean, yeah, you know, I'm... and I have not gone to a... I've not gone to a psychiatrist or a therapist or anything of the sorts. Because, you know, people don't think I need to. And Wade has the situation like mine, but way worse. As I told you, me, 2'11", and then they do crack, cocaine. That is how it has gone. And yeah, it's the story is Wade, his mother, his sister, they live in a little cheap place. The sister has laryngitis, and she's in the bed all the day and all that. The mother only has money to like pay the utilities and get food, and sometimes, you know, and most of the time it's fast food or really, really cheap stuff. It's a rare occasion that she has good money to spend. It's not been revealed where she works, because a lot of stories with high schoolers in them tend to bounce around a lot. And they're like, okay, what are the parents doing? This is why almost none of the parents have been revealed, just Wade's mom. So far. Peter's father is going to show up in this story at some point, but very, very briefly. And again, there's a big reason for that. I mean, you know, it's there's mentions of a guy named Tony's father. I mean, it's possible I throw him in there too, but again, I'm not entirely sure. It's mainly a focus on the kids, because if I start focusing on adults, I'm really getting away from the problem, because the jump from a high schooler to adult is pretty big, you know. You're like, 1 year you're having all these issues, and then the next everybody's just like, oh cool, all your issues are over, but then they're really not. And then, you know, then they become underlying issues, and then they just kind of stick around, you know. And that is a issue with many things today. Is everybody thinks that you can just, you know, leave high school, let all your problems stay behind you, but then they don't really go away unless you can truly do something about it. But back to a bit of the story. So Wade has to go to this dealer Carl, because his mother does not believe mental health is important, and he has to get these. He's always getting anxiety pills every couple weeks, and the reason for that is because he can't get a prescription, because his mother won't let him. So that is the reasoning for that. You know, he really wants to do it the right way, because he's Wade, you know. He's all about doing things the correct way. And he's so mad that he just couldn't. So he goes to this dealer Carl. He has for about 2 years. And when he goes to get them just before high school starts, because he's like, I need these things. I need them. I need them really, really bad. He goes to high school without them because Carl was beat up by two girls with baseball bats. These girls have not been revealed yet, but they will be very, very soon in the story. They also took all the medication he had on him as well. Carl never sold anything too bad. It's mainly just like prescription stuff. There's there is going to be something in a store where he sold like something bad, but it's on like one time, I haven't got there yet. He is currently in jail, so there has to be like a way around that. So yeah, I mean it's something to think about. And honestly, I don't think it is something that too many people think about. It's like, there are kids that are currently struggling right now and turning to some really bad stuff like crack or meth because they have mental health issues that could be easily resolved if somebody would get them to therapists or maybe a psychiatrist to see what the issues are. And honestly, just in my personal opinion, that's a way to turn people away from drugs. Now, I'm just going to say this before I move on. Just to cover up any problems with anybody I might have. Because there could be, not saying there will be, but there could be somebody just saying, that I'm stupid or whatever, and saying that there's nothing wrong with drugs. I mean, you can fully believe it whatever you want, but I'm just going to say this. I believe weed should be legal. There's nothing wrong with weed. I just say that because why not? Yeah. So yes, legalize marijuana. Thank you. Let's see, what else can I talk about here? Oh yeah, a lot of the story involves MySpace, which, shouldn't surprise anybody. It's 2005. Now something I did want to do before I really move on in this story is I want to make an actual MySpace for myself. I've never had one. I mean, I didn't use social media until maybe 2012 or 2013. So yeah, I didn't really have one. Yeah, 2013 was the first time I used it. But yeah, so I never got to use MySpace. But basically, Wade finds this girl named Sasha, which he really, really tries to go for and date, because this man has just been so hurt that he feels like he needs to have a girlfriend. So he finds her on MySpace. He ends up talking to her. He goes and talks to her at lunch the next day. Or there's this girl named Daniela. Well, no, it's not the next day. It's the day after that. It's Wednesday. He used to talk to this girl named Daniela, who he used to know a few years ago, but she went to a different school, but then she came back or whatever. So yeah, he talked to her the whole lunch instead of Sasha. Now there is this huge party that I'm currently writing right now. I can't say it's the middle of the book because it's literally not. It's still the beginning. I have to do, I don't know, I gotta somehow write in a lot before this happens, because according to this, I'm only at 9 pages. And 9 pages for a book isn't pretty good. I mean, I'm talking about, I want a book that is 150 pages. And, at the least, 150 to 300 is a good range for me for how long I think this story should be. And will I try to get this story published? I mean, yeah, I'm thinking that would be a good idea to do, because I truly believe that we need something like this out in the world, even though we haven't gotten anything like this out in the world quite yet. Like I said earlier, Euphoria is probably closest, but it's not this. It's not Wade and Peter and Sasha and all this and all the characters in here that just make it what it is. And I think it's important that something like this is told. Now, the party is this girl named Melanie, who on the first day Wade actually bumps into, gets coffee over her. That is going, and she really goes and shows her character. Like, Melanie's character, she has this mean, she can snap at any moment and just go like that. She can just have this meanness going, right? Or she's a basic white girl, so she can go from basic white girl to lunatic. That is her character. And she didn't surely fool it, because Wade got the coffee on her and all she said was, "Nice going, dipshit." That's it. That's all that happened. That is all that happened. But that just kind of shows that snap. But that snap has not fully happened yet. Now the party scene that is coming, and the party scene is going to be absolutely huge, is going to show, something great. Now when I talked to my sister, my legitimate sister, so this is not part of the book, she was saying that this is too early to have a party scene in the book. I'm like, yeah, I know I gotta add a lot before it still, but I really don't know what. So yeah, I'm gonna have to add a lot. But yeah. So let me get into Raven's character. It was Tuesday at 7:33 a.m. The early bell for first period was in 12 minutes. Wade was just standing in the hall in silence because his social anxiety physically prevented him from talking to any of the people. I might change that lineup a bit. Wade then got a text from Peter meeting him in the history wing. And then Raven was like, "Hey, you bitch." Familiar. And it's like a familiar voice said. I did not put the word "said" in here, so let me do that. There you go. I'll really change that word count. Turn around to see Raven and her new boyfriend. She's like, "Listen, you stupid hoe. My new boyfriend, Cletus, is better than you ever were." And Wade's like, "I don't care. Stop being petty and go live your life." So, yeah. You can really see how her character is. You really see how her character is. Just calling everybody a hoe for no reason. Or bitch. I know somebody exactly like that, which is who this character is based off of, 100%. Yeah. Peter is also based off my best friend Cam, who is helping me with the big project I'm doing. You're like, wait, the book's not the big project? The book's a big project, but it's not the big project. You know what I mean? I might be doing a little too much at once, but it's just because I love doing things that really creatively fulfill me. Like playing video games on Zanzone, which is why I stopped for such a long time. It just doesn't do anything for me creatively. And then I fell back into doing them because I got a bunch of ones. I'm like, man. Gaming channels just don't do anything for me anymore. And then that is what I'm still doing, and I feel like if I would have committed to doing skits every single day and told a proper story instead of doing these video games, if I did the final couple months of my run last year doing that, then I would have probably enjoyed it a lot more than I did. But I didn't. So, now we're here. But yeah, Raven's character is a handful. And she got this new boyfriend, and she's saying how great he is. He's super tall, super buff. And there's a joke in it that Wade is saying that he looks just like he could be Raven's brother, which is also another dig at the person. At the time that I was writing this, she was dating somebody that looked like she was related to. Now, man, I'm all the personal digs. I'm just saying, a lot of these characters based off real life experiences. That's why the character is good. I'm not writing these characters to just so I can take shots at a person. I'm writing them because I have real experience with like how these people are in real life, so that really makes the characters better. Now there's somebody that I know personally that there's a character that's supposed to be them, and they're in the part I'm writing right now, and so far they're not really anything like them because I made them an alcoholic. Yeah. That's just an interesting way to look at things. Sasha's also based off somebody I know. At this time I used to talk to her a lot, but I don't talk to her that much anymore, so, yeah. But of course, Sasha's gonna eventually go away and not be the love interest that Wade, goes for anymore. And that is already hinted in the part that I'm writing, like, hey, maybe I need a backup. Because eventually Sasha's just not gonna have interest, and at the point I'm writing right now, it's like Wade's thinking she legitimately has interest or something. But, this is Wade's life, it's not gonna just start going right at the beginning, which is what it really, really seems like. But that is how I would also describe my life. It's like an up and down sort of thing. And you're like, okay, everything is going fine, and everything crashes to the ground. Like I'm talking, it's not a car wreck. It's like a train wreck. The train is derailed off the tracks, and it's chugging down the highway now, and it's hitting SUVs and minivans left and right. Just exclusively SUVs and minivans because they look awful. I mean, minivans are pretty safe though. Like if you get in an accident and you're sitting in the middle, I mean you're kind of fine. Somebody hits you from the back. People in the back, they're gonna feel that. Somebody hits you, well, if you get T-boned, you're okay. Never mind. All cars are dangerous. What if a plane T-boned another plane? This isn't the podcast for that. Anyway. Alright. Man. So yeah, Melanie, I talked about Melanie. I talked about Cletus. Cletus is just this big brute. Let me get to the part where Wade is in wood shop. The bell rang, and after 5 minutes of thinking what to say, Wade engaged in a conversation with Tony. He said, Tony, how was summer? So basically, Tony's not necessarily based off anybody. The only thing that he's based off is one of my friends named Anthony does some boxing. And I added that to Tony's character recently. I wrote that part in September or October of last year. Now, just a mental note, I stopped writing in September or October of last year. And then I started writing it again in April. Because I just did. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick this back up and see where this goes. Because I got all these characters. I'm like, I've really started something that's good. There's a lot of unwritten books I have in Google Docs. But none of them whatsoever compared to this. None of them are as good as this is. Yeah. So Wade was like, so Tony, how's summer? He's like, it wasn't bad. I had some boxing training in my father's gym. And Wade's like, think you could take old Beady Eyes way behind us? So the line I added in was, I did some boxing training in my father's gym. That was added in because just to add to Tony's character. And then Tony said, no way, he's 21 and transferred from military school. Originally it said, no way, he transferred from boarding school. But there's nothing wrong with boarding school. Like, how boarding school make you there's things wrong with boarding school. I mean, the fact that your parents are just abandoning you to, yeah. But I guess that could make you tougher as an individual. But military school would make you so much more tougher, Just saying. So then Wade asked, Tony, how do you know so much about him? And then Tony said he used to go to the boxing gym until he met Raven, and he only spoke to him once. And eventually, Wade goes to the bathroom. And then Cletus, which is Raven's boyfriend, leaves. Just a few minutes before Wade got back. So he went to find Wade, but he didn't find him. Eventually in here, which I can't exactly find right now. Eventually in here, Cletus attacks Wade. It's just a kick in the gut, but it's not. It's not too bad. It's okay. So I found the Daniela part. Right here. So wait, these are my friends Kevin and Daniela. Well, actually, I'm gonna get to before that. Oh yeah, this is the part where Cletus attacked him. This is Tuesday, and this is just before the first time he met Sasha. So, yeah, he kicked Wade in the gut and walked off. It says right here, Cletus was Raven's new boyfriend. He looked as if he could be her brother. Wade got up and shook it off and proceeded to walk to Sasha's table. And she's like, "Hey, Wade." And Sasha seemed happy to see Wade, even though their interactions have only been scarce. They could go on MySpace. And then she said, "New friends, Kevin and Daniela." And Wade's like, "Daniela, I haven't seen you since 8th grade." And she's like, "OMG, Wade, it's been so long." And she's also based out somewhere I know. I haven't seen her in so long. I used to see her every day until sophomore year. Then I haven't seen her since. I mean, we still talk, but like I haven't seen her in person. Yeah. So that all went to crap because Daniela just decided to talk to Wade the entirety of lunch, so they didn't talk. Then it was Thursday, and on Thursday, Wade got mad, and like everybody started looking at him in the hallway because he was yelling and got mad because Peter handed him a newspaper saying that Carl was put behind bars. Wade got mad. He went to the roof. Peter thought he was gonna jump, and then about the most meaningful sequence in the whole thing so far, which there was really no meaning to it until I added things to it a few days ago, which is, I mean, I think it's pretty good. I'm like, okay, if I add a bunch of stuff to a scene, so far every time I've added something to this scene, I've made it way, way better. And that is what I've done here, because this scene before, you know, it didn't really mean much. It wasn't too impactful. But I made it impactful. So Peter's like, "Wade, don't jump in," and Wade's like, "I wasn't going to. I was just looking over the edge at everyone coming in." Peter's like, "Wade, I know you're not alright. You relied on him for some medication for your anxiety, and now he's going to jail. I can maybe get some for you. I just have to tell the pharmacy I ran out." So also, Peter also takes the same medication, but his parents like are willing to get him the therapy and help and whatever, and he got medication that he needed. He's like, "Peter, it's a bit more complex than that. I don't mean Sasha to be together, but things keep getting in the way." He sat next to Wade on the ledge. "I dreamed last night that me and her were together." He's like, "What else happened?" Peter questioned. "It was Christmas dinner, and we were in our late 20s, and my dad and mom were still together. My sister wasn't sick." Wade cried. Peter gave him a pat on the back. "The bell rang for people to start heading their classes. Thank you, Peter. I've no clue what I would do without you." And he said, while wiping the tears off his face, "I'll always be here, Wade." When Peter went back in the building and went their separate ways. So yeah, and then Cletus tries to beat up Wade, and because Cletus is like, "Where's Wade? Where's Wade?" And then they both all go to the office. Wade couldn't go to lunch because, well, they decided to send him home for the day. Cletus was suspended for... How long was Cletus suspended for? 6 days. Tony was suspended for 3, and Wade was just sent home for the day. He wasn't technically suspended. The principal just figured he'd give Wade a break, and Wade didn't really have a choice. So, well, because his mom was already called. That's just why you have a choice. And it made him mad because he had to miss talking to Sasha again. What day was this? This should be Wednesday, isn't it? Right? I think. But also, yeah, that was Wednesday. Okay. Also, really important part of the story is an important part of the story is the relationship with Wade and his sister. Now, I have been going at this for a long time. So I'm just gonna sum that up a bit. They're really close, you know. They do everything together. But since his sister's sick, I mean, it is kind of weighing down on him emotionally. I think it was Wednesday where he just had a panic attack. He just started spinning and blacked out and all that. I believe that was, yeah, that was Wednesday. And of course, the party is Friday night at Melanie's house, where we meet Alexis, which is Melanie's best friend. I don't know how to describe her yet. I don't really know the character. I'm thinking just like, you know, like a loose cannon, or like a skater type, but like a skater type that's also kind of a bitch. She's really dry. Now everybody, if you don't know like somebody who's like a dry texter, it's like when you're trying to like talk to somebody, like you're trying to text them, right? And they just maybe send one word response. They really don't care what you have to say. And you mostly find this when you're like you're a dude and you're trying to talk to a girl and get a conversation going. You know, and it just happens, and it is just entirely awful. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give Alexis just this, but when you talk to her, Peter is trying to talk her up, and he's like, how'd it go? So Peter's like, my name is Peter. I go to Central High School, which is an actual high school in Philadelphia. I had to look that up. She's like, oh, cool. That's all she said. Peter was turned off a bit because Alexis didn't seem to care, but he still tried anyway. So, Alexis, I'm writing a book and I could use some help. And she's like, help? She questioned. Yeah, all I need is your phone number, Peter said. Because get it, phone book. Alexis sighed. Oh, hey, Madeline, glad to see you. Hey, Alexis, it's been forever. They both walked their separate ways from Peter. And he walked to a chair and sat down. That's the last thing I've written in this so far. Today I might add a bit more. But I don't know. I got other stuff to do. I got another big project coming up, and it's bigger than this. So thank you everybody for being here and listen to me in my great book. This is the final episode of the Xancast, as I mentioned early on. The Xancast has been a great run. Hopefully this episode of the Xancast is the biggest one. I did switch it over to this channel, and I mean, thinking about that, I don't know how good of a decision that was. Because it started tanking views and people started wondering where it was, and I had to keep telling them where it was. But I don't know, it's a decision I made because I originally just planned on quitting Zanzone for good. And did I do that? No. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I was going to say I'd see you next time, but this is the last video on this channel. I'll see you on whatever I do on Zanzone next, or you can check me on Etching the Stars. I upload every single Saturday unless I feel too depressed to wake up on Saturday, so then the video is on Sunday. Thank you.